and welcome to another segment of Open House here at Community Media. This is the program where we bring amazing people in to our studios from our community who are making our community safe, thriving, and vibrant, a great place to live. And today is the time of the month where I get to have Jason Martz with us to do a more or less of a chat about what's going on at the military park and the Eisenhower Historic Site. And Jason is the communication specialist for the Gettysburg National Military Park and the Eisenhower Historic Site. Amazing individual.
Wow.
Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
And I know you have a lot to talk about. There's so much going on at the military park and the historic site. And the park and historic site is a very important element in the makeup of our community. Yeah. It helps with the economy, but it also helps with the culture. I mean, people are they come here. They're drawn here because of a sense of history, and just by living in here, you know, it's there. You know, it's there, which makes our community richer.
Exactly. Yeah. Now we are a very proud component of the local visitation, the local economy, and we're thrilled to be here for the local population and businesses and shops and hotels and bed and breakfasts and you name it. You know, we have hundreds of thousands of visitors who come to Gettysburg National Military Park and Eisenhower National Historic Site every year. And a few years ago, the National Park Service, as a government entity, began doing visitation statistics in relation to the economic impacts of those national parks within those local economies. So here, our local economy is right around the Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and the greater Adams County area. And the numbers for 2023 just came out about a week or so ago, and we have some pretty good numbers to share, if I may.
Please.
Okay. So in 2023, 742,000 visitors to Gettysburg National Military Park and an additional 98,000 visitors to Eisenhower National Historic Site spent, get this, $61.4 million here in the Gettysburg and greater Adams County area.
And that money pretty much kind of stays in the area, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's really the whole point of doing this type of study, is to see exactly what kind of economic impact the national parks have across these individual communities all over the country, because there are more than 430 National Park Service sites across the entire United States.
And they do this study pretty much at each of the sites too.
Oh yeah, we drill down to first national, then a little bit more tight statewide, and then individual community right in and around where all of these national parks are located. And all of this information can be found on our website.
So the county gains about $61 million in revenue. Does that include the taxes that is on certain items that are sold or services provided?
I believe it does. But then, of course, all of that then is information that would then go back into, and money that would go back into the local and state economies. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then it provides jobs.
Lots of jobs.
Livelihood for people.
Exactly. So of that $61.4 million, that spending then supports approximately 734 jobs. And then those jobs, those people who are working in all of these community areas, whether it be hospitality, hotels, restaurants, all the shops, bed and breakfasts, you name it, That money then is also in turn then spent by those 700 plus individuals, and the cumulative amount of economic impact, not just from the visitors, but then also from those who are employed locally, adds up to $88.5 million. So not just the visitor spending at 61.4, but there's another, what would that be? Math isn't my thing. 24.1, I think. And an additional $1 million is also spent then by the 734 individual jobs that are supported by the 2 national parks here in Adams County.
Very significant.
Very significant.
And, you know, you think about the economy, but, you know, and the livelihoods that are provided, but the culture is what enhances, and you can't put a price on that.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You know, the ability to have beautiful land and sceneries, and the programs that people who are living here can participate in, that are mainly free.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
is something that has to be noted.
Yeah. Would you want to roll into some programs?
Yes, but first of all, you know, I'd like to emphasize the fact that the Park Service is a vital part of our, an active part of our community. It's not like an organization that tries to stay within its own walls. You have employees that are volunteers. You have the Park Service itself supports community events, not only just the events that you guys put on, and as I said, the events that you guys do are a tremendous benefit to the community. But the other thing is I think that as you look at Adams County and a lot of the nonprofits, we have highly qualified individuals running our nonprofits, and they're very intentional and strategic. And from talking to you, Jason, I get the feeling that that is the essence and at the core of the Park Service, that everything is intentional, everything is strategic, everything is, well, you don't do shotgun. You don't like, boom, throw all the pellets out there and try to gather all of them up. You're more like a bullet, you know. You're very intentional, very focused, and the programs that you guys have put together are extremely immersive. It's about giving people the opportunity to experience through their imagination and touch what the wars, not only the Civil War, but the historic site was like and meant. So, you know, thanks for what you guys do. Yeah,
well, just to kind of follow up on exactly what you said, you know, there's nothing that we do that is, as you said, shotgun, where everything is thrown out across a big wide, and then you hopefully, you know, get some of those back. We like to say that we're in the long game. We're not in the short game. So the things that we're doing and decisions that are being made really on anything and everything that we're doing, we're not thinking about just what happens today, tomorrow, next week. We're talking a year down the road, or a decade down the road, or even 20 or 50 years down the road. What decisions are we making now that will then affect grandchildren and great-grandchildren and their opportunities to come here to Gettysburg and to Eisenhower and to experience the same history, the same structures, the same infrastructure, the same stories as we do right now. And that's important to us across the board. The entire National Park Service is really in the long game. So what we do and the decisions that we make and the programs that are offered, it's not just about right here, right now, but it's also much more long term. and looking to future generations and making sure that they have the same opportunities that we have right now.
And it's not all intellectual. I mean, you guys, the Park Service, really a lot of your decisions is close to the heart. Mm-hmm. And everyone that work there, I'd like to say an all-inclusive statement, which you can't actually really say, but when the visitors come here, they notice that everyone is treating each other with kindness.
Yes.
And it's close to their heart. The job, they love it. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you're a great point of that, you know. And every year, you take what you've done and you hone it and make it better.
Right.
And now we could lead in, if you don't, I have to say that because I think it's very amazing that Adams County has nonprofits that their heart leads them, mm-hmm. but it's very intentional and strategic.
Absolutely.
And that's the same. You could see that also in the Park Service, and you know, hopefully we could see that in other elements here at the Adams County.
Yeah.
So I'm done with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's hard to follow. It's hard to follow. So yeah, you want to talk about some of the programs that are
Sure.
taking place over the next couple weeks?
Yes, the last time you were here, we talked about a number of things, but we're in September.
Yep.
And you have the World War II experience coming up. I believe it starts Friday, September the 20th.
Correct. Yeah, we're just 10 days out. We're just 10 days out. So let's actually turn everyone's attention here to the screen. We've got the Eisenhower National Historic Site website pulled up here to make things a little bit easier. And if visitors are interested in our World War II weekend at Eisenhower, the single best place to go is the website. Okay, this is Eisenhower's biggest event throughout the year. Gettysburg's biggest event, obviously, is the battle anniversary, July 1, 2, and 3 every year. Well, World War II weekend is the biggest event at Eisenhower, and it's typically held always on the third weekend in September. Okay, there's nothing special about it. It just so happens that that's kind of the date that we've all settled into over the years, and it works for everybody. So we're going to keep doing it on the third weekend of September.
And it's a great time of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
It's September, near the end of September. Temperatures are now getting to be fallish.
Yeah.
You have all the trees, colors coming out with the leaves and
Yeah,
things
so
like
it
that.
really is a
good day.
fantastic time for an event like this. So if you scroll up a little bit here, you're going to see a number of things that pop up here as far as interesting and important things that we think that the public would need to know about or want to know about. And here at the top right, here on the front page, is a tile here for the 2024 World War II weekend. It says, join Eisenhower National Historic Site for our 2024 World War II weekend taking place September 20 to 22. Find out more here. So let's click there, and that pops up the page for World War II weekend. And everything that you might need to know or want to know or plan for as far as World War II weekend can be found right here. And the theme for this year's event is 1944, called the Great Crusade. And what we've been doing over the past couple years as far as World War II weekend is concerned is commemorating the 80th anniversary of. So last year would have been the 80th anniversary of all of the United States actions concerning World War II, especially in Europe, because that's where General Eisenhower was. He wasn't in the Pacific. So we tend to concentrate just on the European theater and North Africa, for that matter. So last year was the 80th anniversary of 1943. This year, 80th anniversary of 1944, the Great Crusade. So folks can read up a little bit about what that's all about, how to attend. This is all something, you mentioned earlier that so many of the things that we do here at Gettysburg and Eisenhower are completely free, okay? We want to stress that. Everything that we do here is 100% free of charge. And if the weather permits, folks can drive right out to Eisenhower National Historic Site. The entrance is off the Emmitsburg Road. And so long as the field where we have the parking for visitor parking set aside, as long as that's dry enough, that'll be the case. Folks will be able to drive directly out there, no problems, no issues. However, if it is too wet, let's say in the days leading up to the event, and that field is just a little bit too saturated to handle vehicles without knowing that we're going to need a tow truck to get folks out. Here on the second bullet point, if that's the case, our fallback is to get shuttle buses, and folks who want to come to World War II weekend will need to go to the Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center and pick up a shuttle bus there. Again, no cost. That's just the only way that we'll be able to get folks in, because if we can't park people in the field, we don't have anywhere else to park them.
But people have special needs.
Yes, but as far as accessible parking is concerned, that's on site 365 days a year, because that's on paved surface, and anyone with accessibility needs has no problem whatsoever. They can drive out no matter what. So if it's raining, if it's not raining, no issues.
They're good.
Yeah, so that's all taken care of. So that's right up there at the top of the page. And from that point, we have really the 3-day schedule completely lined up here. And Friday, the first thing I want to mention is that, and here it even says so right there at the top, that Eisenhower National Historic Site will be closed on Friday the 20th. And this is for a very specific reason. It's so that the staff and living history participants can get all of their camps set up in a very safe manner. And we have found that the best way to do that over the past couple of years, we've kind of tried a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The best way to do it safely is to just shut the site down, get all the logistics taken care of in a nice, safe manner. The living historians get a chance to set up all of their camps and all of the amazing stuff that they bring along with them, which includes vehicles, and gets everybody moving where they need to be, but it's safe. And as far as really the only time that we're going to close the site to visitation, but it's for a very good reason, safety.
So that's going to be pretty interesting, that you're going to have approximately 300 living historians.
Yeah, at least.
At least.
Yep.
So imagine the 300 people coming in on Friday with their tents, because I'm assuming everybody pretty much has a tent.
There are lots of tents.
Yes,
there are lots of tents.
And are they allowed to make a campfire there as a historian?
As long as they keep it within a fire ring, I believe that's the case.
Okay.
There are some very strict rules, but that is actually, that's a good question, but I think they can. I could be mistaken.
Is that, that's the ambiance, part of the ambiance. And they will be sleeping in their tents?
Yes, these folks do have that going for them. They do get to sleep on site in their camps, in their tents, Friday and Saturday night.
And so another smart decision, let those 300 some tents or so get put up without someone walking around and getting hurt.
Yeah, it really is for safety, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from the living historians who do participate in this, and they've said overwhelmingly that they really appreciate that for the safety purposes, because there's a lot of trucks, a lot of trailers, a lot of vehicles, a lot of people, a lot of coming and going, and it's a little too hectic.
And they want to get stuff up as quick as they can.
Yeah, they do.
There's a lot they have to maneuver around, I'm sure.
Yeah, they have a lot to set up. So it's in their best interest, and quite frankly, it's in the best interest of everybody for safety purposes.
And I'll say this probably more than once, but, part of the beauty is that you have 300 some specialists, in a sense, something that's very close to their heart, something that they live, that's going to be there so that people like myself and you watching can go and benefit from their love. And that's one thing that sets this weekend apart.
Yeah.
There's a number of people who are participating.
I would say, add two more things to it. Number one, yes, you are absolutely correct that they are experts in their field, experts in the unit that they are portraying, experts in all of the nuances about that unit, what weapons they had, what uniforms they had, what did they eat, how did they get from place to place, what did they do if they were injured, what did they do, just all of these amazing nuances, and each of these individuals is an expert. Number two, they're all here on a voluntary basis. They're here because they want to be here for the public. They have the same love of the topic and the space and being able to be on property that is National Park Service, that was actually owned by Dwight and Mamie Eisenhower. That connection is very, very strong. So they're here because they want to be here, and it shows.
And they love sharing.
Absolutely.
Their love.
Absolutely.
Their knowledge.
So visitors, if you're coming to World War II weekend, bring your questions.
Yeah.
Because these folks will be more than happy to talk to you and answer all kinds of different questions pertaining to World War II, their unit, and everything in between.
And this does not mean that they're a specialist in the whole experience.
Right.
They're a specialist as that individual that they're portraying.
Right.
And what that person would have done.
And in many cases, one of the other things that ties a lot of these folks together is that they have a relative who served in World War II. So that's an important heartstring that most of them bring along with them as well.
And this is their way of honoring them
It is.
individuals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a spiritual experience.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. Yeah. I'm going to steal that if that's okay.
You can have it.
All right, very good.
I probably got it somewhere.
Okay. So let's lead off with what we've got Friday. The first program actually takes place in the National Cemetery, because the Gettysburg National Cemetery is just that. It's a national cemetery. Of course, it got its start during the Civil War, but there are individuals interred in the Gettysburg National Cemetery in every war from the Civil War all the way up to and including the Vietnam War. So there are a number of individuals interred here in the Gettysburg National Cemetery, and our ranger programs, there are actually going to be 3 of them in the National Cemetery, 5 o'clock on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday. So if you missed the Friday one, you have 2 more chances to get this, and the topics that they're going to be talking about are specifically dealing with soldiers who fought and died in 1944.
Okay.
From there, then, we're going to take it to a 6:30 program that's taking place in the Museum and Visitor Center. It's an evening program. It's indoors. And the individual that we're going to be having a conversation with, his name is Henry Sledge. And if the last name Sledge sounds familiar, his father was Eugene Sledge. And Eugene Sledge may sound familiar because he was an individual that was really focused on by one of the Ken Burns series on PBS called The War. And Eugene Sledge was also a focused character on the HBO series, 10-part series called The Pacific. So that's probably where you may have heard the name Eugene Sledge. Well, his son, Henry, is going to be basically our keynote speaker on the opening night of World War II weekend. Now, the one thing is, it does require tickets, but they're free, okay? It's really just for us to get a head count so that we have plenty of seats for everybody. And you can make reservations for those free tickets right here at that phone number, 717-334-2436. Or you can click there on the link, and that'll get you over to the Gettysburg Foundation's website, and they'll be able to get you the tickets there. But again, they're free.
But there is a limit to how many people that can.
Yes, yeah. So if that's something that's interesting to you, go ahead and get those right away.
Yes.
And then afterwards, there's going to be a book signing with Henry Sledge, as well as 2 other individuals who will also be speaking throughout World War II weekend. Dr. Jared Frederick and Dr. John McManus, and we'll get to them here in just a second. But starting on Saturday, the 21st, this is where the big living history encampment for this World War II weekend event is open from 9 to 5. And this is what folks really love to take a look at, because there's all kinds of vehicles, there's all kinds of stuff, and everyone's in uniform, everyone's in their unit's uniform, so everything's very specific, and it really is neat to see. If you haven't been to one, or if you've been to 10 of these, come out again, because there's always something to see, something to learn. So that's the big thing. That's open from 9 to 5. We already talked about the parking. If it's dry, we're going to have it on site. If it's too wet, folks will be taking shuttle buses from the Museum and Visitor Center. But then throughout the day, there are going to not only be programs taking place for everybody, but there's also specific ones here for families, so we can really get the youngsters involved as well.
Now, this is something new.
Yeah.
Correct?
The family program actually isn't new, but there are some things in here that are pretty new.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got a couple different programs that are taking place each day, Saturday and Sunday. There are reading adventure programs. There's a mystery history guest. So someone maybe from the camp will be coming in to talk to the families. And those will be rotating through over the course of 3 different hours from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then there's another reading adventure. So park rangers will be talking to the kids, kind of lay out blankets under the shade of a tree, and we'll be talking about different books and reading through some books through the eyes of World War II.
Heavily family oriented.
Very, absolutely. Yeah, there's something here at World War II weekend really for the entire family. The home of Dwight and Mamie will be open, available for tours from 9 to 4:30. Okay. And then after that, we get into the guest speakers and the ranger programs. And these are going to be every other. So initially, the first thing to start us off on Saturday morning is going to be a ranger program beginning at 9:30. And they're going to be walking through the camps themselves and interacting with individual camps along the way. And each of these programs, they each have a theme. So this first one is the war in 1944. And if you go up to the next one, which is at 11 o'clock, that theme will be Our Brave Allies in Arms. And in the camp itself, there's a section that's all about the United States allies. So we're talking British soldiers, we're talking Irish, we're talking Canadian, we're talking Free French, etc. So we're going to be talking about specifically those units and how they were integral to World War II and how they worked with and when we worked with them during the war. So you can see that every other program here is a ranger guided walk that has a slightly different theme to it.
And this is just an amazing opportunity for someone in our community or outside of our community. Of course, we want them to come in. But all day long, you're not getting in line and waiting for something.
No.
There's reading going on all day. These guided tours are like full of information.
Yes.
So if you wanted to learn about World War II, or you, again, have this close to your heart, you're going to be immersed.
Absolutely.
And have so much different things. And the ranger walks, I find this amazing that these are so well planned that you're not just walking around and hey, let's go over here. There's a narrative. There's a narrative. So this is like a live narrative.
Yes.
Like a live book where you have a theme, the person's walking through it, telling the story, but the story is mostly told by the 300-some living historians. Yeah. So what a great program,
Yeah.
an opportunity, definitely will hold someone's interest.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we just started doing these camp tours last year, and we used last year's successes to really fine tune and hone them for this year. So with the success of these programs last year, we're hoping to have even more success and have them even be better, if that's possible, than they were last year. So yeah, and the living history folks that are going to be participating in these, they've also asked to participate because they saw these tours walking around last summer during last year's event, and they wanted to know how they could get involved. So here we go. We've got it. It's perfect. It really is. Everybody wins.
And a lot of decisions that the Park Service makes are basically made and the focus is brought to them because of the feedback that you get from the visitors.
Yeah.
And such.
Oh, and not just the visitors, but also the living history
The
folks.
participants.
All of these folks that are coming here on their own volition, and they're excited about it too.
And the people that you're going to be stopping at already know that you're going to be stopping there, when they're going to be stopping.
Yeah, we've been working with them for months, talking about some of these programs and some of the themes, and they're ready to go. They're roaring ready to go. Yeah.
Cool.
So then the other thing that's going on, if there's not a ranger guided walk that's going through the camp, there's a separate section going to be out on basically the front lawn of the Eisenhower home. There's a big tent, and you can get out from underneath the sun if it's a little warm, you need a place to sit down. This is a great way to do it because now we're talking about authors and historians that are going to be talking about very specific elements of research that they have done. And here again, this is where we're talking about Dr. John McManus, who is one of the folks who's going to do the book signing on after the Friday evening program. So he leads us off there at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning with a program called September Hope, the American Side of a Bridge Too Far. And so there's going to be first, again, a ranger program, then a speaker. A ranger program, then a speaker, and so on throughout both days, both Saturday and Sunday.
So the element where you have a speaker, will they speak for an hour, or are they going to usually, they're scheduled for an hour, but typically?
Usually they'll talk about maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then have lots of time for questions and answers.
You're right, and that's where you probably get into it, where you see a number of people just hang.
Oh yeah.
And they want to interact and they want to talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're as excited as everybody else to be there. So to be able to talk about these very specific elements concerning World War II, especially specifically 1944, you get it from every level, from every layer of the programming that's taking place.
And Jason, you have another famous author, John.
His name is
Orloff?
John Orloff, and
Orloff.
let me scroll up here a little bit. I believe
Am I getting
he
ahead of-
is. Well, that's all right. You're just keeping us in line. Here he is. He's one of the speakers on Sunday at 1 o'clock. His name's John Orloff, and he is both the, let me get this right, the writer and co-producer of a series on Apple TV called Masters of the Air. So here again, we're talking about elements, just as we're talking about Eugene and his son Henry Sledge, that Eugene Sledge was a large component, a focus individual on two different programs, HBO's series called The Pacific and the Ken Burns series called The War. And here we go. Here we have a modern version of that. And in this case, it's called Masters of the Air. So yeah. So again, the programming that takes place on Saturday also continues on Sunday, but the times are just a little bit different. On Saturday, everything is 9 to 5. On Sunday, it's 9 to 3. Again, just to kind of give the living history groups and individuals an opportunity to take all of their stuff, pack it up properly, get it loaded into their vehicles or onto their trailers, and again, kind of get out of the area safe. No more casualties.
Right.
No more war casualties.
Yeah, and by
So-
this time, they're exhausted from just giving of themselves.
Yeah, yeah. So we've also learned over time, let's shut down a little bit early to give everyone a safe opportunity to get what they need, closed down, packaged back up again, placed properly back in their vehicles and on their trailers, and get out of the area safely. So 9 to 5 Saturday and 9 to 3 on Sunday. And so if you miss us on one day, come back out on the next day. And many of these items are going to be carried over and repeated. But in some cases, there's going to be something different literally every program or every speaker. So you're going to see something new at the same time.
Right. And if you missed one ranger walk,
There'll be another one an hour
the
and a
next
half later.
day, but
Or the
with
next
the
day.
theme.
Yes.
You can get
Yep.
the theme the next day.
Exactly. Yep. And I also do want to say that if you are at the Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center, we're also going to have a number of groups who are going to have displays in the Visitor Center, as well as everything that we've already talked about on site at the Eisenhower National Historic Site. We're also going to have folks at the Museum and Visitor Center from the Museum of the United States Navy, the National Museum of the Marine Corps, and Eisenhower National Historic Site will be there as well with some stuff from our own collection.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that, and we also want to throw out that because this is, we like to think we're a good and big part of the community, and we're proud to be that. We also have information on here, although it's not ours, it's a separate event, but at the World War II American Experience Museum in Gettysburg, north of town, there's a USO-style dance that folks can go to. I believe that's something folks would have to pay for.
Right.
I'm not sure, because it's not ours. I'm not exactly sure what the details are, but we have a link to that event here on our website as well.
And that is an awesome event that lends itself well for this weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
Because what they will have is a 1940s dance. So there will be people in period outfits
Yep.
playing period music. I think it's the big band period.
You got it.
And so all those historians, the living historians who spent all day just sharing, can go out and use up their energy that they have not.
They're R&R, so to speak.
Yeah, dancing.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity.
And then here at the bottom of our webpage, just one other thing real quick, if anyone is interested in participating as a living historian, or if you know a group who might want to participate beginning next year, we're already taking information and we're talking to groups about next year's World War II weekend, and information is here on our website about that. So that's all there. And for further reading and further experiences, we have a bunch of different links here at the bottom. You can see photographs from our World War II event in 22, 23. There are virtual programs from the National Cemetery, and just lots and lots and lots of other content specific to World War II and specifically Eisenhower and the European theater. But all of that is available here on our website as well.
Communication specialist Jason Martz for the Gettysburg Military Park and the Eisenhower Historic Site. One of the first individuals for the park services as the internet was being formed by Al Gore to take his knowledge and share it with those that you were learning with. And I mean, your website is very intuitive. It's easy to follow. If you're planning to do anything, anytime, with the Park Service, get on the website. Information is there. If there's anything that's people should know of with caution, you have a part for that. And as you can see, it's very well laid out. And at the very end, there's stuff there that they could relive what happened in the past and get a good base of what they might, the questions they might have. I mean, once they go through your information that you have.
We basically have information on here that most people didn't even know they wanted.
There you go.
Or didn't even know that they needed. But we have a wealth of information on our website. It's always a good place to go.
And then you could start conversations with your neighbors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very good.
So do you want to bounce over to Gettysburg?
Let's bounce.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Here. I think this is awesome
before
we leave the World War II experience,
Yeah.
because, you know, like one point that is very important to you as a communication specialist and the Park Service is that everyone that comes here with some type of interest can be immersed in the experience. And you have something that's awesome for the kids.
Yep. Highlighted this little bit here at the top for folks to see, and that's what you've got here in your hands there, Ray. For kids 5 and up, when they come here to World War II weekend, they can pick up one of these World War II weekend family activity booklets, and they can complete the projects that are in here. They just need to do 5 that are in here, and there's more. There's going to be more information as well on site. But basically, you go around and visit 5 of the different camps, and they're all going to be labeled. There's going to be a chalkboard out front that differentiates them from everyone else who are going to be participating in this family activity. But once the 5 activities are completed, and if you open it up here, if you would for me, Ray, there's a page on there with the 5 stars.
5 stars.
And show that to everybody. Of course, Dwight Eisenhower was a 5-star general, so that's where we're getting this idea from. So when those 5 stars are stamped or marked, I can't remember exactly how we're doing it, but to prove that that young soldier participated in that program, they can come back over to our welcome tent and receive a real World War II era dog tag.
With their name on it.
With their name on it, because we actually have in our collection of fantastic content in our own collection here at Eisenhower National Historic Site, we have a real working dog tag machine. And we're going to make up dog tags for every child who comes in here and completes the 5 programs here.
And there's going to be over 10 activities that they can go through to get these 5.
There are more than 5, so yeah, they're going to be choices each day.
So actually, they can get 5 stars and then start again.
Maybe, yeah.
And end up a 10-star.
If they're so inclined. Yeah, so
And
that's there for the families to participate in as well.
And I like the idea that you have it from 5 and up.
5 and
so
up.
That means a child like you and I can go through this program, right? To get my own dog tag. I think I need one of those dog collars that has the electric shock on it, really, to stay in line.
My goodness.
But that's a different story.
It is a different
let's
story.
Talk about,
yeah.
Let's talk about the military park now.
Okay. All right, so we're going to bounce over here to the website for Gettysburg National Military Park. And if you scroll up a little ways, again, you're going to get to see some of the really important things that we have going on. And these highlighted tiles that are here on the home page, they get changed every so often as we go through the different seasons. We're kind of going from summer now into our fall ranger program schedule. And so that's the second tile that's here. It says the full list of 2024 ranger programs. If you click there or tap there, it'll take you to the ranger programs at Gettysburg page. And then it's broken down even farther into the programs that occur daily, and then our very popular battle walks, and also our very popular campfire programs. So if you click on each of those three boxes, those tabs, you can then pull up everything that's happening daily. As far as the ranger programs, the battle walks, they're only taking place on Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m., but they happen in different places all over the battlefield. So if you're interested in those, definitely want to check that link out. And then the same thing with the campfire programs. They take place at 7:30, but then those times get adjusted as we go a little bit farther into the fall. And the sun sets earlier and earlier and earlier. So we kind of work our schedule according to when the sun sets. So if you click on there, those are only going to take place on Fridays and Saturday evenings. The battle walks are Saturday and Sunday mornings. And then the campfire programs, the times that they start to get adjusted the later on in the season we go. And all of those programs go through the end of October.
So throughout the, I guess, spring and summer, you start these programs up.
Yes. Yeah,
And-
these the daily programs, for instance, spring, summer, and fall. And then the battle walks and campfires are started up usually in the summer and may or may not continue into the fall. It really depends on staffing levels in many cases. But this year we have enough staffing to continue both of those programs through October.
Now, the battle walks, are they also just on the weekends during the year?
Yeah, those are also typically done just during the weekend. But again, if we have staff, they may also be daily. So it just depends on kind of what season we're talking about. So if you take a look here for 2024 battle walks, we have our September and October schedule up, and you can see here the one that took place on September 1st started at the Virginia Memorial. The one on Saturday, September 7th, started and ended over at Auto Tour Stop number 1 at McPherson Ridge. So again, these are taking place all over the battlefield. So if you're really interested in one of these, you want to make sure where it's going to start and which day,
And
whether
you
it
have
be Saturday or Sunday.
the ranger who gives the...
Yes, and one of the other things that's very, very popular, at least here at Gettysburg, is in many cases, the rangers are very popular in and to themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So they kind of have a
following.
A following, sure, that's a good way to put it. And so lots of people like to show up for different ranger programs, and they just enjoy that particular ranger's presentation, no matter the topic. So that's there for our visitors as well. So yeah, all of those programs take place right now from now through the end of October. And then the other things that we're looking forward to is Dedication Day, which is the anniversary of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. That's November 19th, so we're looking forward, working on planning that event. So we're not quite there yet. We'll usually start to really get into the weeds once World War II weekend is over. That's kind of taking all the oxygen out of the room, if you will, right now. So we're laser focused on just World War II weekend. Once that's over, we'll turn our attention almost immediately to Dedication Day. Again, November 19th. That's a free event that takes place in the Gettysburg National Cemetery. And after that, at Gettysburg, the next big thing would be our winter lectures, which start up usually in January, sometime in January, and go through March. Those are also free events. They also require tickets. This is very much in keeping with the evening program for World War II weekend on a Friday, where it's inside. It's in one of the theaters. Theaters only have so many seats, so it's just a matter of getting a head count. So the tickets are free. You just have to have a ticket to come in. So that's coming up then early next year.
Okay. The dedication, November 19th,
Yeah.
of the Gettysburg Address, you'll definitely have someone there giving the Gettysburg Address.
Oh yes, that is absolutely part of that program come November 19th, absolutely.
And we'll have a chance to talk more about that the next time we
Yeah.
sit down to chat.
Yeah, over the next couple months, we'll be talking about that one.
Okay, cool, cool. So, is there anything else that you guys could fit in?
Well, I'm not sure that we can, Ray. I think we
telling
may
you.
have maxed out our ability to work on projects and programming and different things out on the battlefield and at the Eisenhower farm. As you mentioned earlier, we really do love what we do, and we hope it shows.
Yep, and you just keep honing and making them better. And a lot of it comes from the feedback that the Park Service gets from the people watching and those who go through the experience. So, Jason, time went real fast.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. I like the fact that we could see your website.
Yeah.
Because the people who are watching, if one or two of them are like me, most of them probably are a lot smarter, would listen to what you were saying, but then they're probably taking notes, but they could always go to the website.
Right.
If they have any questions about anything.
Exactly. Yeah. For anything, for either park, ranger programs, special events, you name it. The Gettysburg National Military Park website and the Eisenhower National Historic website are your go-to sites for anything having to do with either of the two parks.
And with the weather changing, the campfire program that you have would be fantastic to participate in.
Yeah.
So, would you like to say anything before we go, Jason?
I think I just want to thank Ray for having me here again once a month. I think this is something that sounds like we'll be able to do for the foreseeable future once a month, right?
That's our goal.
Fantastic. And again, just check out our websites, nps.gov / either GETT for Gettysburg National Military Park or EISE, short for Eisenhower National Historic Site. It's basically the first four letters for either of the two parks. So nps.gov / GETT or / EISE. All your questions hopefully can find answers on either of those two websites. If not, let me throw one more thing out. At the bottom of every page, no matter which site you're on, let me find it. Right here at the bottom, there's a contact information and there's a contact us right here at the very bottom left corner. If you click on contact us, that will bring up an email that you can fill out, and that gets sent here to the park, and we will be able to get back to you, or you can give us a call. It's probably better to email us. The phone tends to get somewhat overloaded, so if you actually want to get somebody, if you could, give us an email. But other than that, folks, all your questions, hopefully there's answers to them on either of our websites.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks again for watching this segment of Open House here with Jason and myself. I just want to reinforce again, as a community, the Park Service is very much a vital part of our community. And during that weekend, the World War II American Experience will have a big band playing, and they'll be dancing, and it will be all based on the 1940 experience. So there's so much to do on September 20, 21st, and 22nd that if you are wondering what you're going to do, you don't have to wonder anymore. So, hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and until we have a chance to bring another awesome person in to speak to you about what they're doing for our community. Stay healthy, be kind, and remember, you are the best. Thank you.